Good afternoon, people. This is Brian. I'm over here at the compound. I'm just showing you what we got here. We have 9 cord stacked up to the rafters in the old shed of many colors. We've got a few items here, some winter items that need to be brought down in the basement. But what we brought you out here today to show you, people, is even though it's an old shed of many colors and it's seen a lot of wood in its day, come in and come out and load up and unload during the winter, it's a shed that says when it's cold out and it's 40 below zero or it's 20 below zero, we're gonna have that dry wood for you, and we're gonna keep the elements at bay, and you can rest assured, just as the sun's gonna rise, the shed will be here for you. The shed of many colors. And I'm just going to give you a little walk around, because a lot of people keep messaging me about my shed of many colors. They want to know how it was built, where I bought it, etc., etc. The situation is, I seen a need for a small shed of many colors back in the day, I think about 15, 16 years ago, and I really needed to put some of my equipment outdoors. And what it's really evolved into, originally it had wood planks all around the outside, and it had a really nice look to it, but I wanted it to be more weather tight. So I wound up taking some recycled tin that you see in the back, and we put that on the roof, and we put that also on the sides. And I've went since then and I painted it. I painted it to match the house and to match the compound. Everything that we have here is the theme that we have. But what I want to show you is, even with a shed of many colors, over the test of time that it stands there for you and keeps your lumber and everything else out of the elements, you have to maintain it, people. You can't just take it for granted, so to speak. You have to, even though you come and you go, and if you were the shed's mind's eye, you see the traffic in and out of the compound, and you see the traffic come and go, and you see the seasons come and go, and you're standing there faithful like the Rock of Gibraltar. Even though all that happens, you have to maintain it. You have to check up on it. You have to look at the foundation. You have to check make sure no nails have come loose. You have to maintain it. And here with the shed of many colors, we've had some issues with the floor. It's tongue and groove, 3/4 inch floor. And I've thrown things in on it. I've dropped things on it. And over time, we've put some holes in her. And what we need to do is we need to shore them up. And now here, let me show you what we've got. So as you see here, this is a situation. At Home Depot, they had these boards that were 3 foot long. They were smooth. They didn't have this trim piece cut into it. And they were $10 each. This one I wound up getting was an 8-footer. The same type of material, tongue and groove. And it was only $10 for 8 feet. I thought I had only had 2 pieces I needed fixed. But this morning when I got up and moved the snowblower out of the way, I noticed that that piece had a hole in it. And even though that piece right there had the hole in it, that will not go in the garbage, people. That will go in the wood pile, and it will get burned, and it will be transformed and recycled into biothermal units. That will somehow keep my hot water or my house warm. Do you understand that, people? So here's the situation. When you're replacing panels in your floor, and you have the situation that says, we have tongue and groove, so how do you get that up? You have to look at the situation and say, here's the groove, okay? All right? The board on one side has a tongue, and the other side has a groove. Well, this side here had the tongue, but as you see, I've removed the tongue. Because what happens is, if you try to lift this board out, you'll wind up busting this board. So the deal is with that is you're going to want to use a multi-tool. Okay, this multi-tool shakes back and forth super fast. It only moves about 1/8 of an inch, but those teeth bite in and they cut right through. And so what you want to do is you want to take the multi-tool, and first of all, you take a square, You see? Because you don't want to do things half-assed. All right? You take a square, you lay it in the groove, and you mark your line. Now what you want to do is you want to find out where the nails are. Right? The existing nails, just like these here. You see the nail. And then what you want to do is you want to find them nails and you want to strike your line, because usually this is about 3/4 of an inch on the board and you have 1.5 inch floor joist, so you go another 3/4 of an inch. Now, in order to get those nails out, you don't just wish them out, people. You have to have the correct tools. This is called a cat's claw, okay? This has been around for probably 30 years. I've had this. And not all cat's claws are equal. If you buy the cheap version, okay, you see how kind of narrow this opening is here? If you buy a cheap version, that opening will be like that. And you say to yourself, what does that matter how wide that is? It matters, people. Because what happens is the wider it is, do you see this? Let me bring it right down here and show you. Do you see that little bit of wood that's chiseled out of there? Okay. When you come in to get this nail, and you get under it, and you tap on it, and it gets underneath the nail, then you pry it up, right? The more pointed that is, the easier it is to destroy less of the wood. If that's wider, you wind up taking a huge chunk of wood out of there, defeating the purpose. So you can do, I've had some cheaper ones in the past, and you can heat them up with a torch and pound them a little tighter. But you do have a run the risk of detempering the material too. But that's just a little DIY trick. If you need to get that nail out without destroying the wood, you need to make sure that you come up in high on it. You drive up under it just a little bit, and then you pry it up a little bit just to get the head up above it. And then you bring this arched one in, and you get on it and you pry. Okay? So that's how you get the nails out. And then you turn around and you go ahead and you actually cut this tongue piece off. Go down through and you cut it. And there's a little bit left there, okay? Okay, and then what you can do is you can actually twist the board up and out without damaging either board. Now on the new board going in, it's going to have a tongue piece sticking out of it. And that's going to set right down in this groove right here. Over here, cameraman. And it's going to go in here, in that groove. That's your groove. The tongue is going to go in there, right in the groove, and it's going to lock into that panel. And the situation will be, your floor will be pretty much secured. And then you just go back through and you put some nails in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this piece cut. It's exactly 4 feet. And I'm going to go ahead and use my nail gun, my DeWalt nailer, okay? It's battery operated. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean this up and get it nailed down. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a shed that says, it may be a shed of many colors, but it's going to be around for many years. And I do recommend that if you're going to do this type of work, you get you a nice tape measure. And today my sponsor is Central Boiler. A boiler for every need. You want to stay warm? We'll keep you toasty. Central Boiler. And we'll do it on the cheap, and you won't have to pay an arm and a leg. Okay, so that's my sponsor today. They did give me this nice tape measure, okay? And I used it today for the first time, I think. I was looking around and scrounging for my good tape measure. And today this happened to be my good tape measure because it was available. But Central Boiler, they definitely keep you warm when everybody else is shivering inside their house. All right, people. This is Brian over here at the compound. We're making some adjustments to the shed of many colors. We just went and picked up a nice load of wood. We're going to bring it in here, and we're going to get this baby filled up. We got to go 2 more rows. I think I could get 3, actually. But we're going to get this filled up, and we're going to stack this up. That'll be that row there plus some. And then I'm going to get one more row stacked up, so it'll be another trailer full before the day's up. And then the situation's going to say, we're ready for winter. And we will look at winter directly in the face, and we will look right at it and taunt it and say, come on, we're ready for you. It's okay if you come. It's okay if you snow and you blow and you try to knock our compound down. It ain't going to happen. We're going to embrace it, because with the cold weather comes the deer that want to keep moving. And if you know what that means, when the deer start moving, then they start getting put down in the snow, and you start to say, the situation is, we're coming home with food. And we're coming home with a freezer full, and we're coming home with the situation that says, we're going to eat venison stew, we're going to eat venison backstraps all winter long, people. We're going to stay warm and toasty, and we're going to turn around and we're going to eat good venison meals. And if not, we'll go ahead and we'll get some beef, and we'll put that on the skillet. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have venison than anything else. But yeah, that's the deal, people. And let me show you something. You see that's got plywood up under there? You got to put the plywood down first. They tell you can use purlins, and you can. I just prefer to put the plywood down. And as you can see, it leaked for a few years, so we got a little bit of water staining, but the wood is definitely dry and it's definitely sound, so don't worry about that. Don't you worry about that little staining right there. But I put that half loft up there, and you know, the situation is, as you can see, look how much I've got stored up there. And there's my free steel right there. Let me zoom you in. There's my free steel that I'm going to build my log arch with for hauling the logs out of the woods. And we're going to go from there, and we're going to turn around and make sure everything is just beautiful. I mean, take a look. The birds, they're out. They're in the feeders. It's a wonderful day here, people. Look how blue the sky is. This is upstate New York. And oh, let me just get on my political rant. Oh, I got to do a political rant today. You know, we're on the cusp of taking New York back for the conservative side. You understand that, right? Kathy Hochul's about getting ready to get her ass handed to her. Lee Zeldin is going in there, and he's going to win. People are tired of their policies of the no bail reform and all this other nonsense that's letting these criminals walk the streets. Now, I don't live in New York City, but if those people come up from New York City up here and play that game, let's just put it this way, to be politically correct, they may never make it home, if you know what I mean. Out here in the country, things are done a little differently. The other situation is, we are on the cusp of taking this state back, and I just want you people to mark this date down. Okay, this is November the 3rd, 2022, and I told you right here. As you see the way the direction this country is going, New York City is just a microcosm of, on a bigger scale, of the United States. And you see how Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats are running this country in the ground with the prices and the inflation. I don't care what he does and what he says anymore. It doesn't matter. He's irrelevant. We got to take the country back. You see the gas prices. You see the food prices. You see the prices of everything you buy has been doubled. Okay? I want you to remember, when the Republicans and when the conservatives take back this country and this state in particular, and they change the direction of the country, they actually alter the direction and change it back towards what we had under the Orange Man. When that happens, that will take a little bit. It'll take a year or so to start seeing some change. But when it does happen, and then you start seeing the 2024 campaign kick up for the presidential election, I have it from good source that my man's going to be back in the race, if you know what I mean. But once that happens, and you see the economy starting to turn around, it wasn't because Joe Biden did anything different, okay? They're going to get up there and say, look, my economy plan's working. Look, it's working. You see the economy's coming back down. And the inflation, rather, is coming back down. The economy's doing great. When they start saying that, remember, this was the trajectory right now that they're on, is destroying it. And when it gets taken back over by the conservatives, and if they change it, and it starts heading in the right direction, don't let them fool you and think that, oh, this is what they did now. No, it's their policies, and they want to go even further. This isn't enough inflation for them. Right now, the Democrats, they even want even more inflation. They want to say electric cars for everybody, even though you can't afford them, even though it's not sustainable, even though everybody can't have a car. But they want you to think you can, so that when the realization is too late, they can say, well, it's only the people with money can have cars. You need to get on a transit. You need to get on a bus. You see how that's going to work? I've been to other countries. I've seen how things work. In socialist countries and people that don't have a good economy like that, do you think they let the peasants drive? Do you think they let them have the freedom of the American dream to say, I want to get in my car and just take a ride today? No, they all get on autobus. Okay, they get on the buses and the trains. And listen to me when I tell you this. I've seen it firsthand. They're not sitting there on a bus with a luxury. A lot of them people are in the seats, but a lot of them people are head to nose. You see this people right here? They're head to nose. Standing there for 45 minutes, head to nose. And they are jammed in on them buses because they don't have the option to get a vehicle and take a vehicle. So don't let them fool you into thinking you're going to get an electric car. Because the grid can't even support that. Think about it. The grid can't support it. How much snow can your roof handle before it collapses? You can't quadruple that amount and say it's going to be fine. There's a limit to everything. And there's a limit to the resources. Once they if they take their agenda the way they're taking it, you won't have a car, people. You'll be reliant on a bus or a transit. And then it'll be every other day you can try to get on there because if your name ends in this letter. Okay, so I'm just telling you, once the economy comes back around for 2024, don't let them tell you they did it, because they're fighting what the conservatives are trying to do right now, which is alter and 180 this economy. So don't be fooled and don't think, oh, look, it's the old Democrats of the past. They want to help the country. They're for the poor. They're for the women and children. They're not. Remember, if someone can hurt an innocent child, they're not good people, number one. They're not for you, okay? If they can dismember children and sell their body parts, okay, and that's on their platform that they want that, then let that sink in. They're not for you, okay? They don't care if you go hungry. They don't care if you have school clothes for your kids. They don't care if you're living in luxury or even peace. They don't care. So when the economy gets turned around, remember, it wasn't the Democrats, because they were going in this direction, and the conservatives want to head in that direction. And when they finally get it headed in that direction, the Democrats will be kicking and screaming the whole way. Okay, just like dragging you see these parents dragging their kids to the store, and they're kicking and screaming and stomping and saying F you to the parents. That's the Democrats, and that's what they're going to be doing the whole way. And then right when the 2024 election rolls around, they're going to say, look, we did this. We did the economy. It's under our presidency. It's under our rule. Don't be fooled. Okay? So that's my rant for the day, and that's my thoughts on the day. I wish Lee Zeldin all the Godspeed. I can't wait for him to get in there. And I mean, I love my state, but I will be super proud when a conservative is back in running this state, showing Kathy Hochul that no, we as conservatives are not going to leave the state. Okay, because she said that in the past, get out of my state. Well, guess what, Kathy Hochul? I don't really care what you think. It's not your state. It's our state. We are the people. And you understand, you've forgotten that you as a government official work for us. It's not the other way around. Okay, so I'm smiling. I have a little smirk today because I know what's coming. I can see the red tide, and I'll be happy to put my size 9.5 boot right in her ass and get her out of New York State. So if anybody's leaving Kathy, it's you. It's not us. All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Like I said, the greenhouse is flourishing still. The birds are chirping. They love their nice little birdhouse. You can see them flying in. And we just love the compound. We love the day today. It's beautiful. Get out there and enjoy it. And enjoy yourself today, people.